My name is Erin McCarthy. I am the community president at Waterstone Bank in Wauwatosa, Wisconsin. I've been volunteering with Make a Difference Wisconsin for approximately 3 or 4 years. The purpose of the program here for you guys is to get you guys to understand the importance of making sure that you're choosing the right banks, you're using your credit card wisely, you know what your credit score is, you're protecting yourself for future financial success. So today what we're going to go over is check it out. And what we're going to cover is choosing an account, different types of checking accounts, things to look for in checking accounts, what you're going to need to open an account, different fees associated. How many of you guys, show of hands, have heard of bank fees? Almost everybody here, right? Okay. Purpose of writing a check, cost of using check cashing stores. Again, show of hands, how many of you guys know what a check cashing store is? All right, how many of you guys have ever used a check cashing store? Okay, how many of you guys know what the payday loan stores are? And how many of you guys have used those? We're going to go over what check cashing stores are and the difference between those and checking accounts at banks or credit unions. The importance of record keeping, and then online banking. So terms and concepts that you're going to want to know in here. Check register, right? How many of you guys have a checking account here? How many of you guys keep track of everything that you purchase in this check register? Every single thing, including interest that might go into the account. Okay, for those people that raise your hands on keeping a register, let me ask you this. How many of you guys can balance it to the penny every single month? All right, we're going to go over some of that today. One of the things that we find is with the check registers, people are relying more on online banking today to balance their checkbooks. And this is the key to your checking account and avoiding any kind of overdraft fees. Maintenance fees on accounts. How many of you guys know what a maintenance fee is?
I know they just charge you for having an account with them.
Yeah, it's different things that happen within the account. Whether or not it's because of minimum balance or because there's transaction limitations and maybe you've exceeded those transaction limitations, those are the things that can occur on a monthly basis. Overdraft or non-sufficient funds. For you guys that have a checking account, how many of you guys have overdrawn an account? I can give you a story here that before I was working at the bank I'm at right now, I was a teller at a different bank. And I misrepresented my check register by 1 penny. Anybody guess how much it cost me?
I said $25.
$25?
2 pennies.
2 pennies. It cost me $35 to misrepresent 1 penny. And again, it all circles back to this trusty check register, okay? So, into accounts. Choosing a financial institution, what to keep in mind. Anybody here, give me some reasons as to what you're looking for in a financial institution.
The interest rate?
Interest rate, very good.
No fees.
No fees, that's very important.
That my money is safe.
That your money is safe.
Yeah.
Some of the other things that might be important. What about the employees? Do you guys care about how the staff treats you as a customer?
Yes.
Yeah? When you walk in, you want them to know who you are. You want them to know your name, whether you've got $10 in that account or whether you got $500,000 in that account. You want to be treated correctly, right?
Yeah.
What about location? Is that important to you guys?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah? You don't want to drive 15 miles to go cash a check, right?
No.
Then you might as well use the check cashing store. Some of the other things that we have in here, the hours. Can you get there when it's open? Access to your money. Again, if you're going to put money into the bank, you want to be able to take it out as well at your convenience. Minimum balance. How many of you guys that have accounts have a minimum balance on your account? Okay. Now I have a question. How many of you guys know what the minimum balance is? Okay. And how many of you know what the fee would be if you fall below the minimum balance? What would be the fee if you fall below the minimum balance on your account? $35. Okay, so other things to consider would be the cost of overdraft protection, transaction fees. Anybody here that has an account have to pay when they go and make a deposit at the teller line? There's a couple banks that are doing that now. So you want to look for transaction fees too. How much is it going to cost for you to have your money in that bank or that credit union? Service fees are the cost, generally monthly, to have the account. It's between $5 and $10 for a minimum balance. And then there's some places that still have free checking where there's no minimum balance. A lot of banks for you guys would have like student checking or a starter type checking that you'd want to look into. Those typically have 0 minimum balances and then unlimited check writing. The ATM transaction fee. How many of you guys have gotten socked with an ATM fee when using your debit card? What are the fees? Isaiah, what's your fee?
Sometimes mine's like $3, $3.50.
$3, $3.50. Byron, what is the fee for you to use the ATM?
Some from $1 to $4.
$1 to $4. Have any of you guys got hit with a double fee where one bank is charging you and your bank is charging you? Michael, you've been double charged before?
Yeah, they both charged me like $2.
Yeah, so that ATM costs $4, right? One of the things that you want to look at as well when you're choosing your financial institution is with that debit card, will they charge you for a PIN-based transaction? And PIN being your secret code, right? Your 4-digit secret code. I have an account somewhere else that anytime I use my PIN, they charge me 75 cents, even if I go to their ATM. So I'll drive to their ATM, I'll put in my PIN number, and I get charged 75 cents for that. Okay, so that's the cost of having unlimited access to your cash. But again, those are things that you want to look at when choosing what bank or credit union to go with. And in the overdraft, non-sufficient funds is $25 to $35 per overdraft. And in all honesty, that just keeps going up. That fee I've never seen go down. What do you guys think you need to open an account? Money. That's absolutely true. We need money to open an account.
The ID.
ID, yep.
Social security card.
Possibly your social security card. Yep, you at least need your social security number, right? What else would you need? An address, right? You were gonna say that? Typically what you need is 2 forms of ID, your social security number, your address and phone number. Some places may ask for your employer. You need a cash or a check to make a deposit, right? You need to put money into the bank. And then if you're under 18, you may need a parent or guardian's signature or consent. Now we're going to go into check cashing store versus checking account. For those of you guys that have used check cashing stores, how much do you typically pay when you go to a check cashing store?
Like $3.
Maybe $3, yeah? We're going to use this as an example here, okay? Let's say that your check is $150 and you pay about $8 a week to cash it at the check cashing store. Okay, so now you're only getting $142. But that's $32 that you're paying a month. Who here wants to give the check cashing store $32 a month just to cash your own hard-earned money? We got one person that'll volunteer. You come over by my bank. Nobody else, right? $384 a year it costs you to cash that check. At $150 a week, how many of you guys are willing to work 2.5 weeks for free? Show of hands, anybody? Nobody? Nobody wants to work for free? Now let's say you have the checking account, okay? You deposit your check weekly. The cost for the deposit is $0. Even with a $5 monthly maintenance fee, that's $60 a year, you still save $324. Now let's throw a spin on it and say that you wind up overdrafting. $30 for an overdraft fee. 4 times in a year, that's $120 overdraft fee, right? Plus your $60 maintenance fee, that's $180 in fees for the year. But it's still less than what you're paying at that check cashing store, right? Yeah. So before, when we were talking about bank fees and credit union fees, it seems like a lot. A lot of those fees are only incurred if you are the one that incurs the fee, such as the overdraft. So even with a few minor mess ups, you still save $204 a year by avoiding the check cashing store. So are we going to still use check cashing stores, or are we going to look at depositing our money somewhere else? What about payday loans? What do we think about payday loans? One, you have to have a job, right? It's a payday. So you have to have a job. What do they do with your paycheck though then? You write them a check and you hold that. They hold that check. And as soon as your next pay period comes, they have access to your bank account and they withdraw that money out of your bank account. So if you need $200 today, as opposed to $200, let's say next Friday, that's going to cost you about $220 to $260 to borrow $200 today for 1 week. That's when we have to ask ourselves the question, can it wait?